Welcome to the very first episode of Mika's Diary. This has honestly been a long time coming. I've known for a very long time that this is what God wants me to do, but I knew that I wasn't ready, and He kept showing me that I wasn't ready. He had to do a lot of work inside of me before I was able to come here and do this. There was also a lot of fear attached to it because in order for there to be a testimony of how good and faithful God is, the first has to be a story about a lost and a broken and sinful person, right? And I don't have to tell you that a lot of us don't feel comfortable, sharing those parts of ourselves. Um, so yeah, I'm really excited. I'm like super excited to finally be doing this. Um, I was thinking about an icebreaker for quite some time, on how I'm going to introduce myself and the purpose and the plan with my podcast and my channel. And I landed on talking about why I decided to be a stay-at-home mom. Out of all the shocking things that are my life, you know, that is the one that people are most intrigued by. Like, what led you to make such a decision about your life when you're so young? It's not that I got married when I was 22. It's not that I'm 23 and I have three children. It's always why? Why did you become a stay-at-home mom? So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So stay tuned. So I'm actually going to talk about five main reasons why I decided to be a stay-at-home mom. The first one being I've always had a desire to be a wife and a mom for as long as I can remember. This has been a dream of mine. I've always wanted to build the family that I didn't have growing up or that I didn't see growing up. The family where the mom and the dad are still together, of course, and they are madly in love with each other, and their home is just full of joy and peace and laughter. I've always wanted to have that family. And looking back now, um, I know that God put those desires in my heart because when I was much younger, I didn't understand. I just knew that's what I wanted. But now that I'm a bit older and I'm seeing the direction that he's taking me down, um, I know that this is a gift and a purpose that he's given to me personally. And yeah, it's just been a driving force now for a lot of decisions that I've made, moving forward with my life. But yeah, that's number one. Number two is genuinely like nothing matters more to me than nurturing and protecting my children. Absolutely nothing. Like, no job, no degree, career, no amount of money matters more to me than being with my children, especially at this time in their life where they're still so young and so precious. Um, yeah, of course, I have ambitions and I have aspirations and goals, but they don't matter more to me than my kids. And a time will come when they're a bit older and I can pursue all those things, but I only have them at this age, so young, for a very short time. So I'm very committed to that. It's my biggest priority, not my biggest priority. God and my husband are my biggest priority. But outside of that, they are my most valuable, asset. So yeah, that's number two. Number three is the level of indoctrination and exposure to harmful things that kids are faced with nowadays is extremely alarming for me. Like, it's extremely, the things that I was introduced to in high school are being introduced to kids at younger and younger ages, like primary school. Things such as sex education, transgenderism, pornography, and substance abuse, like these things are exposed to them at younger and younger ages. And some of these are being integrated into the schooling curriculum, right? At least for us in South Africa, it's not yet like a full blown thing like other countries like the United States, where this is fully being taught in the schooling curriculum at very young ages, where it's extremely inappropriate. Like it's not good for kids that young to be introduced to such things. Another thing is technology and social media. That's a really big one. You know, almost every child nowadays has a cell phone, and primary school included, a lot of kids have cell phones and unlimited access to the internet, and parents don't some parents don't yet understand the severity of how dangerous it is to put that in the hands of a child. You know, they don't put the necessary precautions to protect their kids from accessing the most destructive sides of the internet. And excuse me. And all it takes is your child just having a friend who has that cell phone and unlimited access to the internet, and they are going to see things that are going to corrupt their minds, you know, and well into their adulthood, like the things that I was exposed to and the things my generation was exposed to are things that affected us into our teen years and some of us into our adulthood, right? So now imagine the implication it has on a child who's still in primary school, how destructive that is for them. So that's really one of the biggest reasons, actually, for me why I decided to be a stay-at-home mom and homeschool my kids. Um, and I know I'm not going to protect them forever. I know that they're bound to see these things, the atrocities that are on the internet and in the world. But I I will try my best to make sure that it's not at this very young age, you know, and hopefully by the time they do come across it, because in nowadays it's not a matter of if, you know, your child will come across these things, it's a matter of when. And hopefully by that time they will be at an age where we've given them a proper foundation, you know, a Christian foundation, knowing very well that these things exist in the world, but it shouldn't, you know, be something they aspire to do. And yeah, you know, and hopefully we will have given their father and I will have given them the tools they need to resist these things and to combat them and to stand firm against them. But I'm definitely going to make sure that they don't get exposed to these things as young as they are right now. So that's a very big reason for me. Number 4 is my husband and I made a conscious decision that we are going to have a traditional setup in our home. You know, the old school mom is at home taking care of the home, teaching the kids and all that, and the dad is the provider. We made the decision that that's what's best for our family. You know, I remember when I was working and I was so drained. Oh my God, I was so drained and tired. Work was so toxic. And it didn't help that every single day I would take my kids to school. They would cry for me. Like that shattered my heart every single day, especially my 1 year old. He was 1 year old at the time, my second son. Every day I would take him to school, he would just cry his eyes out. And when I would pick him up from school, he would have this joy and this light in his face, you know, from seeing me. And that would break my heart like almost every single day. And then I go to work and work is hard and toxic, you know. And one day I remember I was on my lunch break and I was texting my husband. I was like I can't do this anymore. this is too much for me. It's unbearable that I have to be away from my kids when all I want to do is be with them. And then I'm facing all these things that are happening at work. I cannot do this anymore. I remember literally crying. And I remember him just saying to me, like, my love, you don't have to do this. Like, you don't have to work. And like there were never any sweeter words to me, right? And I took it and I ran with it, and I never looked back. And I'm so grateful to God for giving him the same vision, for the structure of our family and the future that we want to have, because it would not have been possible if not for him. So I'm really grateful that we came to that decision, because I've been so happy and so fulfilled and so relaxed in my life ever since we made that decision. And it was so beneficial for everyone in our household, our kids, myself and my husband as well, because our life was very chaotic when we were working. We had two young kids and we were both working. It was working weekends also as well. It was very chaotic. Like the house was always a mess. We were always in survival mode, and everything just felt like it was so much for us. And when we finally sat down and made that decision, like life has been so calm and peaceful. Yes, it comes with its trials, but it has been the best ever since we decided to have a traditional setup for our home. And it was very helpful for us to know that God approved of this. In fact, he's the one who wanted this for us, because it came with so much blessing and provision from him. That's how we knew that he wanted this, because in the state of the world, it's like, oh, this economy, how can you not be working? How can one of you not be working, right? And yeah, we took a leap of faith and said we want this, even though the world think it's taboo, even though they think it's weird. We're gonna do it because this is what's best for us, and it's been the best decision this far. So yeah, that's number 4. Number 5 is quite simple, and it's that I just decided that I'm going to obey God, obey his instructions and his direction, the direction that he wanted my life to take. It's really as simple as that, and everything that I just spoke about before that falls on this one. Everything I just talked about are just circumstances and convictions that he used to guide me down this path, right? So yeah, I really had to obey him and have faith, because it's so shunned upon to make such a decision when you're so young. The world and society has set a standard for us, young women, for what should bring you happiness and fulfillment. And it's usually the pursuing of a career, degrees, money, materialism. And I never really cared about those things. I just always knew deep down. I always knew deep down that this is what I wanted to do, that this is what would make me happy. Like, that's all I aspired to be. I just wanted to be a mom. I wanted to be a wife and a mom and build a loving family. And that's all I just ever wanted in my life. So yeah, I just had to obey God and trust that he has my future and my best interest at heart, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it looks like to everyone else around me and around us. So yeah, those are the 5 reasons why I decided to be a stay-at-home mom. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that it blessed you, and send it to someone you think might benefit from it or might enjoy watching this. And there's going to be a lot more of content to come. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, as the people say. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.